Ilia Topuria captured the vacant lightweight with the KO. Charles Oliveira versus Ilia was sick. Ilia obviously did his thing there. I want to see Ilia against the winner of Paddy and Gagey. I don't know how Gagey got back into a title shot. I don't even without winning a fight. He's fighting for a title. It's crazy to me. Another one is Paddy the Baddy. He hasn't fought the world's best in the combined record of the guys that he's fought is not the most impressive. I'll be the first to say, but Paddy can fight. Paddy is good everywhere, solid, and he's a massive star overseas, right across the pond. Massive star. I don't think he beats Ilia on any given day, but we'll see. I would like to see Ilia against Arman. Obviously, Dana White, the guy that heads this whole company, said that Arman's in timeout. He's got to do more. I see both sides to it. As a promoter, when you put that amount of weight, time, money, resources into a dude to fight for the title, and he wasn't just fighting anybody, he was fighting Makhachev, pound for pound number 1 or 2 at the time. When you do things like that, there's like nothing you could do to pull away. I don't know all the ins and outs of what Arman did, but I heard it was from weight cut, his back. I heard different things. I don't know, so I don't want to touch on it. But I know it must have been a lot if Arman couldn't fight, because Arman's a fighter. It must have been a lot. And at the same time, Dana White understands it. Man, shit happens. Your favorite fighter of all time, Dana, Conor, has pulled out like 5 or 6 times. And yet, you're even talking about having him at the White House. But he's pulled out of events like 4 times, 3 of them against like Michael Chandler. So it's like, dude, yes, you wasted all this money, all this happened. But at the same time, how long are you going to keep Arman in the gulag? I want to see Arman fight the world's best, and that's Ilia. I don't know when that'll be. Hopefully they let him out of punishment soon. Because I get it, Dana. You're mad at Arman, and you gotta scold him, you gotta punish him to show him, hey, don't do that again. But how many other fighters in clutch moments have missed and then gotten their opportunity again? I feel like Arman should have been way over Gagey, and I feel like Arman should be way over Paddy, but he does have that hiccup. So what does he do? Does he sit out, or does he go out there and make his case? Get another one of these top 5 guys, Arman, I say, take their head off, because there's nobody there that could beat him, and keep it moving, brother. Then they can't deny you. I think he has to go out there, just beat somebody else, and not even Dana White could say, no, I'm not giving this guy a title shot. After that, there's no way, And the fight to see in 2026 is Arman versus Ilia. Those are the best guys at 155 pounds right now. Let's see it. Islam Makhachev is going to fight potentially Usman. I like that fight, That's somebody he could wrestle back into Makhachev. That's somebody that I know personally could wrestle back into Makhachev. That's his forte. That's what Usman started with, is his grappling background. And Usman's no pushover in the wrestling. I think he's better on the feet. I think he's bigger. He's longer. He's stronger. He has more experience fighting long fights on his feet as well, and using his defensive wrestling, like he did with rat face Kobe's bitch ass, or how he did with the other nut freaking Chasma, whatever his name is. He's very good at fighting those guys. I actually thought he beat the 185-pound champion currently, Chasma, on like a 11-day notice. He just got out of the couch from eating whatever the fuck he was eating, got on a flight, went over there, and beat him 2 out of 3 rounds. I think this is the most dangerous fight for Makhachev at 170, man, with no doubt about it. That's a big step up in competition, I think, from Jack Magdalena, which is phenomenal on the feet. I still think to this day right now has some of the best hands on the roster, and his wrestling defense isn't bad either. He's a good scrambler and stuff, but he's not on Usman's level in any way with the defensive power wrestlers. Usman could wrestle defensively. I think this is one of the toughest fights for Makhachev right now. I don't know if they're gonna want to take that one. At middleweight, we do have one of the biggest fights at middleweight that I'm really excited to see this fight. Sean Strickland versus Fluffy. That is a fucking fight to see. That's going to be a fucking war. Shout out to both warriors. Both put it all on the line. They redline each other their whole fucking time they're in there. They're just fighting. This is definitely a fight I want to see. And I think both bring out each other's styles, both are going to get in each other's faces and just make it a fight. They're both going to push each other to the next level. I think that's candidate for fight of the year right there. Light heavyweight, what happens with Pereira? You know, do I want Pereira to go up to heavyweight? I want Pereira to do whatever he wants, bro. I really love this guy. I love his style, obviously. He comes to fight. Everybody knows I love guys that are coming to fight, that are not, you know, hanging out, trying to win a decision or grab a leg and, you know, get to a good position. And instead of throwing a punch or an elbow, keep holding on and just be very safe. I don't like that style. And Pereira is the exact opposite of it. Do I want him going up against Aspinall, John Jones? Man, I don't know. Because I don't want him to lose. I want him to beat all those guys, you know, and there's nothing against those guys. But I'm a big Pereira fan, bro. I like what he brings to the table. It's just these guys are much, much bigger, and they're probably going to want to wrestle him, you know. I know for a fact. John Jones is not going to want to stand with him. Aspinall, who knows? Maybe Aspinall might stand with him a little bit, but eventually he's going to start using his takedowns, you know. And I'm not trying to diss Pereira because his wrestling's gotten a lot better. We saw it in the first fight with Ankalaev, how good his wrestling's gotten. He wasn't able to get control, and Ankalaev is a great wrestler. He's not John Jones level, but man, he's not too far behind. So I really think I want to see Pereira heavyweight, a light heavyweight. I'm sorry, a little bit long. Just fight a couple more guys, but at the same time, he's already cleaned that division literally out. He's already ran through the circle. There's nobody there in a way for him to fight. So I get the move going to heavyweight. You know, Tom Aspinall remains a champion at 2025. You know, and all the people were talking mess about this guy, but that guy got a double eye poke, you know, and he's having surgeries, having all types of shit. He had a fucking needle in his eye. They had to inject him with a shot. I've been eye poked in a fight once, and it sucks, man. It was bad. It was one of the most painful things. Actually, the most painful things that's happened to me in training are all eye related. I got an eye poke when I was like about 17 years old, almost lost my eye. Had to go to Baskin Eye Palmer down here in South Florida. I had to wear a patch on my eyeball for a fucking month because I had double vision. That's how bad the swelling in my eye was. For a whole month, I would see one person and then I would see like a silhouette of that person like that because my eyes weren't synced in. The Bluetooth wasn't locked in. So all these fucking NASCAR drivers from the backseat of their fucking couch talking about, oh man, I would have kept through. You know, there's only one guy I think that probably would have kept fighting is Waldo. But really, it's not fair when you get eye poked like that. It's not a fair thing for you to have to decide, especially if you get double eye poked. You know, so shout out to Aspinall, man. I hope he gets back in there.
Khabib and his team are very smart, and they are very intelligent at choosing fights and making interesting matchups. Kamaru Usman is fucking irrelevant in the welterweight division right now, and I excuse my language, but it's the fact. He's a has-been, and yes, at one point in time, he was arguably the greatest welterweight of all time. He's not close now. And I think Khabib and the team in Russia and that whole fight team, they know how to spin the wording to build a fight.
All right, enough. Cut this shit, bro. You're gonna fucking give me a headache, Dom. But I don't know who died and made this motherfucker the relevance police. Because motherfucker, I never thought I'd actually be here advocating for Usman or anything, but here I am. Usman, him calling Usman a has-been is so crazy because you've never even been, brother. Like you're not nothing. You might be a contender right now and stuff. And you beat up Bilal, you know, but you had to eye poke him twice to do that, you know, and it wasn't like you stopped him or nothing. Ain't nobody, I never see nobody like talking about this guy like he deserves the next title shot. It's only him and his wife talking about he deserves the next title shot. You know, maybe he is pushing 40 years old, Usman, but I still see Usman beat the crap out of Ian Garry, you know. Ian Garry's not the best welterweight out there, but he was born with some gifts. He's massive. He's like a light heavyweight at welterweight. I think a lot of guys will rock his shit though, man. He's already been rocked by Chavkov, which I think is one of the most deserving at 170 pounds is Chavkov. I don't know when he's coming back with his injuries. I would really like to see him, but for him to say Usman's irrelevant, like, man, what the fuck have you done, you know? So, I don't know. I mean, you know how these guys are, bro. They just got to talk more than anything. He's got like a boring style overall. He's got good speed, and he keeps the fight standing until he's fighting another strike, and then he goes for takedowns, but overall, his style is just not exciting. And that's why nobody's talking about him. And that's why he has to diss the next guy that might get the title shot. Because Ian's just fucking boring as fuck, you know, for the most part. Even when he is, you know, landing combos, and after he hits somebody, instead of being fucking mean and staying on top of him, he'll go fucking for a stroll. He'll start dancing, he'll start walking, he'll start clinching. Like, bro, get in there and fucking fight, you know? So I don't really think much of Ian's ass.